Hello everyone, welcome to Nilanjana's exclusive English lessons. So today we are going to do the summary of Act 2. The summary of Act 2 will give you a gist of whatever we have studied all this while. Now there are four scenes and sometimes it can be a little difficult to memorize. So here I am to give you a gist of the entire Act 2 so that you can remember and you can also write your answers in your exam. So I hope all of you are doing well. Those who don't know me, my name is Nilanjana Sarkar, and I create videos, I create content on English literature, English language for both CBSE, ISC, ICSE, as well as HSC. All right. So what happens exactly in Act 2? Now, in Act 2, we see that the conspiracy gets stronger. All right. So here we can see that how the conspiracy further develops, which finally leads up to the assassination of Caesar. Now, the assassination of Caesar will not happen in Act 2, it will happen in Act 3. But here in Act 2, we will see that how it finally leads to the climax in Act 3. Also, it includes the characters like Brutus, Cassius, Portia, Calpurnia, while setting the stage for the tragic events that follow. So here we also get a gist of Brutus's conversation with Portia, Caesar's conversation with his wife Calpurnia, and so on. Now, in scene 1, we can see Brutus's internal conflict. Now, what is Brutus's internal conflict? In internal conflict, we can see that Brutus he actually tells a soliloquy. Now, what is a soliloquy? If you remember that I had told in my lessons that a soliloquy is like a speech where, the speaker is all alone on the stage. And with the help of the soliloquy, we come to understand that what is going on in the speaker's mind, the audience comes to understand, and what will happen in the future of the play, right? So with the help of the soliloquy that we can understand in Act 2 scene 1, we see that Brutus is actually in a great dilemma because he thinks that whatever he's doing is obviously not correct, right? And at the same time, for the overall well-being of Rome, he needs to go ahead with the plan, the conspiracy, the enterprise. Okay, so and we can also see that Cassius, he is very deceptive character and he tries to convince Brutus, he tries to manipulate Brutus further. Not only that, he also doesn't want to get a fallout with Brutus. A fallout refers to some kind of a difference of opinion. He doesn't want to do that. So whatever Brutus tells, he just quietly agrees to it, even though he tries to give his own suggestions. But when the moment Brutus tells no, he doesn't persuade Brutus further and happily agrees to whatever Brutus suggests. So that is also done from a very cunning point of view of Cassius, because he doesn't want to get into any kind of disagreement with Brutus, because Brutus's support in this conspiracy is pivotal. Okay, all right, so we see this, and we also see his loyalty to Caesar. His loyalty to Caesar means, of course, he knows that he's a dear friend, and despite his growing doubts, he grapples with the idea of betraying a dear friend and a leader. So when the conspirators, they come to meet Brutus in scene 1, Act 2 scene 1, he knows that the deed that they're about to commit is very heinous, is very evil. So he tells that now that you are so ashamed to hide your face, because it's night time and still you are not having the courage to show your face. So then in daytime, where will you get a place to hide your face? So rather you hide your face in smile and affability. So this is the suggestion that he gives to the conspirators. And we also see his moral dilemma. He struggles with a desire to uphold the honor and fear of allowing tyranny to rise. Now, when the conspirators in Act 2 scene 1, very important part is we also see the conspirators, they come to meet him, right? So when the conspirators, they come to meet Brutus in the middle of night, if you remember in Act 2 scene 1, there are certain things which they discuss, right? The first thing what they discuss is about swearing an oath. Cassius suggests that they should rather swear an oath because that will keep them committed for their deed. So Brutus feels that swearing is not necessary. Why? Because the sufferance of their soul, the time's abuse, and also the motives, if these are weak, then rather they should break off right now and let tyranny rule over them till each man drop by lottery. So they have a motive which is extremely strong enough, and that is enough to keep them committed. Besides, all of them are Romans, right? So Romans, they are already very strong with their words. So therefore, they don't need to swear an oath, because if at all, at any point of time, if they falter from their commitment, then they should be blamed. That every Roman bears and nobly bears is guilty of a several bastardy if he do break the smallest particle of any promise that hath passed from him. So this is the reason Brutus tells that no, they should not go for an oath. All right, the next thing that they discuss is about Cicero. All right, so who was Cicero? Now, Cicero was a scholarly person, and he was very senior, and therefore, most of the people suggested that Cicero should join the conspiracy. But again, Brutus denies. Why does Brutus deny? Because he feels that he is never going to follow something what other men will start, right? So what does he say? That he will never follow anything that other men begin. So therefore, he also doesn't agree with the fact that Cicero should join their conspiracy. On the other hand, like people like Metellus, Cimber, Cassius, they all tell that they should have Cicero in at their side. Okay, next is they talk about Mark Antony. So, what do they talk about Mark Antony? They talk about killing Mark Antony. All right, they talk about killing Mark Antony, and because this is a very practical suggestion, Cassius says that we should kill Mark Antony along with Caesar because he will be a threat for all of us. Cassius is has a lot of far-sightedness which Brutus lacks. Brutus again tells that no, we're not going to kill Mark Antony otherwise, because our course of action will seem to be too bloody. It is going to be too cruel and too bloody. So therefore, we are not going to go with killing Mark Antony. Then they also discuss the person that Decius Brutus is going to bring Caesar to the Senate with the help of his, convincing words, with the help of flattery. So, because there was a doubt that they had in their mind that whether Caesar is really going to come to the Senate or not, because already he's become little superstitious, and he's getting dreams, he's getting all those omens. Cassius tells these things, so therefore it is a little doubtful whether he should come or not. So Decius Brutus, he tells that no, I'm going to bring him, because and I'm going to do that with my flattering words, and I will convince him to come to the Senate with me. All right, in the next part, now the after this, the conspirators, they leave, and then we have a very important conversation of Brutus and Portia. So who is Portia? He is Brutus's wife, right? So Brutus's wife Portia, she's very concerned, and she thinks that her husband is very troubled, and he looks quite in turmoil, and he is lately become very disturbed. He is not sleeping at nights, and he's like he's getting up from his bed, and even while having his food at supper time, he suddenly got up, he walked about. So there is something wrong with him. So she understands this turmoil that her husband is going through, and she reflects her strong emotional connection to her husband's well-being. So basically she tells that I am your wife, and I am not just to be with you in your good times. I have the right to know whatever you are troubled with. And she also shows her strength. She reveals that she's a woman of exceptional courage, as she implores Brutus for honesty, showcasing her resolve and conviction. So how does she show her resolve and conviction? She talks about the self-inflicted wound which she had done on her thigh, and that thereby she tries to say that if I could bear that pain, how can you tell that I cannot take your secrets. I cannot listen to your secrets and keep them to myself. On top of that, I am not just any ordinary woman. I am Brutus's wife, and I'm also the daughter of Cato. So therefore, this is what she talks about. And finally, Brutus gives in and he tells that, okay, I will tell whatever is troubling me, but not right now, because there was again somebody at the door. So this time, who was at the door? This time we have Caius Legarius at the door. And Caius Legarius tells that, okay, I am also now with you. I am here with you, and I'm going to discard my sickness. And he joins the conspiracy. All right. So this is the thing that we see in scene 1. This is how the scene 1 ends. Now we come to scene 2. So in scene 2, what we see that Calpurnia, who is Calpurnia? He is Caesar's wife. Julius Caesar's wife is Calpurnia. And Calpurnia has an ominous dream. All right, so I hope scene 1 is clear. I gave you a gist of scene 1. Now I'm giving you a gist of scene 2. So what happens in scene 2? Calpurnia sees a dream and she tells that I've never believed in all these things, but I have some kind of a premonition that today is not a good day for you to go out, so it's better you stay back. And we all know that that was the day, which was the Ides of March, and that was the day Caesar has been even warned earlier. And on top of that, there is also another warning from the priest. When they had pulled the entrails of the animals, a servant brings the news that when they did the sacrifice, they could not find a heart within the beast. So Julius Caesar was asked to stay back as the priest had noticed something unusual while performing the sacrifice. So these are the two major warnings he gets of not going out. But we know that Julius Caesar is an extremely egoist person, right? So he is in a dilemma. So what he should do? Should he listen to Calpurnia and stay back? If he does that, then he may be called a henpecked husband. That is what actually Decius also tells him when he comes to take Caesar. He tells that you are telling you don't want to go, but you should give me a valid reason. If you give the reason that Caesar's wife doesn't want him to go, then probably people will laugh at you. So he is in a dilemma and he doesn't know what to say. And after this, when Decius comes, he is very clever. And what he does is he completely changes the dream. The interpretation of Calpurnia's dream is completely changed by Decius, and he convinces Julius Caesar with his flattery. And he tells that I am here to take you. And what is one more thing which he tells that you will be crowned. The senators have thought of crowning you. So therefore, it's very essential for you to go to the Senate. So this is the gist of scene 2, act 1, scene 2. So my dear students, if till here, if you feel that this video is helping you, I would request you to please give a like so that it can boost my confidence and it can really give me inspiration to make further videos like this. Those who are already there on my channel, those who have already subscribed to the channel, I really thank all of you for the tremendous support that you have given me. And thank you for being with me. Thank you for showing your love, your support. I love to see the way you all, pour out your affection on when you write your comments. So I'm really, really grateful, because without you all, I couldn't have come this far. And at the same time, those who are new to this channel, I would request all of you to subscribe, because if you subscribe, what is going to happen is you will get access to a lot of content on ICSE, Julius Caesar, Treasure Chest. Okay, because after the video, when you go and check my channel, you will see that I have given line by line explanations of all the scenes of Act 1 and Act 2, which is in your grade 9 syllabus. All right. And yes, for Act 3, you already know, those who want early access to the videos, the membership option is also there now, where the videos are already posted. And you can join the membership option and get access to a lot of premium content at a very, very, very reasonable price. Right. I mean, it's not even, 1/10 of the price that you pay for your tuitions. And that is the kind of price I'm charging for the membership. And if you ask me why I am doing the membership, I've already made a video on that. So definitely you can check that. So yeah, without wasting much time, let me continue with the summary of scene 3. So in scene 3, what happened? Now, scene 3 is a very, very small scene. Here we see a character named Artemidorus. Now, who is Artemidorus? He's a teacher of rhetoric. I had already made a detailed video on this, so I'm not going to get into the details. Artemidorus is again an admirer of Caesar, and he wants to give Caesar a letter where he talks about all the conspirators, and he tells that none of them are safe to be with. They're all quite dangerous, so you better stay away from them. So he tells that I'm going to give this letter to the Julius Caesar while he is going on his way to the Senate. And at the same time, he laments the fact that it's such a sad thing that virtue cannot live beyond the reach of jealousy. People are so jealous of Caesar that even though Caesar is so virtuous, it's so sad to understand that, his life is in danger, his life is in threat. Why? Because people are jealous of a virtuous man like Julius Caesar. So, therefore, this scene also gives us an idea that Caesar has many public admirers. People really admire and look up to him, and he has a great fan following. And obviously, Artemidorus is one of them. Now, finally, we come to scene 4. So, what happens in scene 4? Now, here we see a completely different Portia that we had seen earlier in scene 1. Okay, so in scene 4, we see that Portia is very anxious and she's very tense. Why she's anxious? Because she already knows the secret. She already knows about the conspiracy. She knows that her husband is about to murder somebody, and she is unable to bear that secret to herself. She is unable to give any clear instructions to Lucius. Now, that very day, when they all went to Senate, she is at home and she's very worried. She also wants to know what is happening over there. Is her husband safe? Is the enterprise successfully carried out? So, with all these things, her mind is very troubled, and therefore, whatever she blabbers with Lucius, her servant, she's unable to give any clear instructions. So, and also at the same time, she even hallucinates. She hears some imaginary, noise from the Senate, which Lucius tells that no, madam, I cannot hear anything of that sort. So, this shows that she's very terrified, and he's trying to keep a secret, and for her, we know that it's not easy to keep such a secret. Now, in this scene, in scene 4, we also see a soothsayer. The soothsayer, the same soothsayer whom we had met in Act 1, the soothsayer wants to warn Caesar once again. All right. So what does he say? That here I am going to stand on the way. The street is narrow, and there's a lot of crowd which is going to follow Caesar. I'm not going to stand here because I will be suffocated to death. So I will get a place which is more void. I will get a place which is more void, and I'm going to stand there, and I'm going to speak to great Caesar as he comes along. So again, this is proved that Caesar has a lot of public adulation. Okay, he has a lot of public adulation. There's a lot of love for him, and Artemidorus would say they are just his well-wishers. They don't have any motive. They are just his well-wishers, which shows that he's actually quite loved and admired by the Romans. All right. So this brings us to the end of Act 2. So I have given you an entire gist of Act 2. Now you can go ahead with your exam preparation because it's quite lengthy and students are forgetting. So I thought that let me give you a summary so that you can have it clear in your mind. And if you obviously have any doubts, do let me know, your questions and queries in the comments. And yes, for your fortified exam preparation, if you need the notes for Act 1 and Act 2, I'm dropping the link in the description box. Many students have already taken access. If you want, you can definitely check the notes. All right. So with this, thank you so much for listening to me, and see you soon again with the next video. Goodbye.